This is getting a little scary.
Yeah.
Holy.
Northern Ontario's frightening and fast-moving wildfires.
You're encased in flames now.
How people are racing to escape and the widespread effects on air quality, where all that smoke is headed. Also on this Wednesday night, an international investigation leads to a Canadian man's arrest.
Mr. Tolls now faces 130 additional criminal charges.
The heinous crimes he's accused of. Multiplying fears AI could steal your job.
The nature of labor needs to change.
What the world's top economists say needs to happen. Plus, who will take on Spain? The countdown to the clash of two titans at the World Cup final.
Global National with Donna Friesen.
This could potentially overtake us here. This is getting a little scary.
What a ride for the crew of this CN freight train caught in one of dozens of wildfires raging in northwestern Ontario. People in at least 6 communities north of Thunder Bay had to flee at short notice, many of them by boat. And the dense smoke, it has drifted south, shrouding Toronto and even as far as New York City, reducing air quality for millions of people to unhealthy levels. Good evening and thanks for joining us. There are reports homes, cottages and businesses have been burned. It's not yet clear the extent of the damage. The fires are fast moving and the focus now is on making sure everyone caught in them gets out. Melissa Ridgen begins our coverage tonight.
Holy.
Okay, yeah, this is...
Okay, y'all need to hurry up here. Like, seriously, we're encased in flames now.
Incredibly, this CN rail crew made it out of the inferno Tuesday, even capturing the moment another train plowed through thick smoke and flames.
Did you guys get that light? Oh yeah, they're clipping. Whew! That's a meat and a half, eh?
The Ontario Provincial Police say there's no reports of injury or death from fast-moving wildfires that ripped across areas north and west of Thunder Bay, forcing people to flee for their lives. This resident of Collins First Nation shared his video escaping by boat, looking back at his entire community destroyed.
That took out a small community of Collins and they lost their home, so it's a very intense event that happened.
On shore, evacuees still had a 3-hour or more drive to Thunder Bay. Wayne Machandagos shared the video of his journey.
Visibility is very poor. All that's burnt. This was full. Even the highway's black. Look how terrible that is.
This family was enjoying a day at the beach near White Sand First Nation.
Smoke in the air. It just kept getting darker and darker, coming closer like the smoke to us. So we decided, let's go.
They're now in Thunder Bay.
Hopefully I don't lose my home.
A Northwestern Ontario digital news site, SN Newswatch, has reported a group of 4 American tourists needed to be extricated from Wabakimi Provincial Park.
We were really worried. The chances of death were very, very high. 2 more hours even, they might have been toast.
So far, 5 communities have been evacuated and 4 others are on standby. This map shows a wall of wildfires burning west of Thunder Bay. Environment Canada says it will be days before meaningful rain could fall. Melissa Ridgen, Global News, Winnipeg.
From Thunder Bay to Toronto and further east and south, wildfire smoke is choking the air for millions of people. Nicole DiDonato reports from Toronto.
A thick haze has taken over the Toronto skyline as smoke from wildfires in northwestern Ontario blankets the GTA.
It's really gross. It's not a nice feeling when you walk outside.
That smoke prompting Environment Canada to issue an orange air quality warning for the region. Toronto's air quality ranked the worst in the world for most of the morning and afternoon Wednesday, according to IQ Air.
Well, I'm wearing a mask because I find it hard to breathe with the yellow smoke.
I'm staying indoors. Yeah, that's pretty much what I got to do.
But some people, like this food delivery driver, can't stay home.
Right now, not so many people are going outside, and that's why the market is a little bit good, and that's why I'm doing Uber.
Toronto Public Health has opened 6 cleaner air spaces, including City Hall. It has even added extra shelter space so people experiencing homelessness have a place to go to escape the smoke and heat. Mayor Olivia Chow also says the city is ready to help wildfire evacuees.
Together, we look after each other, especially during challenging conditions like this.
The city canceled Wednesday's FIFA Fan Festival watch party due to the poor air quality. It also closed wading pools since they're mainly used by children, and Sankofa Square called off a fitness event.
Obviously, air quality, especially for an event that is focusing on exercise and a lot of movement, we really wanted to take that into account.
The hazy conditions not deterring dedicated runners.
It's fine.
Fine?
Yeah, no, it's not fine, but it's fine.
Or stopping tourists from exploring Toronto.
It's a bit of a shock. We don't get this back home. We have to fly back tomorrow. So we're just being on the bus going round.
Health experts warn wildfire smoke is especially harmful to children and seniors, along with people who are pregnant or have underlying health conditions. But one doctor says it's crucial for everyone to take precautions.
If you have to go outdoors, I would minimize the time. Potentially, I would consider wearing a mask. And if you don't have to go outdoors, make sure that your air conditioning is on, your windows are closed. If you have an air purifier, that would be great.
You can see the smoke, smell it, and even taste it. Conditions like this can cause people to have symptoms ranging from eye, nose, and throat irritation to coughing and chest pains. The poor air quality is expected to be at its worst through tomorrow and possibly Friday. Donna.
All right, Nicole DiDonato in Toronto, thanks. Air quality is a serious problem. Global News meteorologist Anthony Farnell is tracking it for us. Anthony, what are you watching for?
Well, Donna, I'm watching the wind direction closely, and it doesn't show much sign of changing. I'm also waiting for some rain to fall over the parched ground and boreal forest over northwestern Ontario. Right now, we're in a holding pattern. Low pressure sitting over Quebec. High pressure here, and there's your conveyor belt, your corridor of smoky skies extending from the fires through Thunder Bay into southern Ontario, New York City, Boston, and even at times Atlantic Canada, dealing with smoke in the sky. And for southern Ontario, so much smoke that it's actually keeping the temperature down. Now, poor air quality is going to be around all day Thursday, perhaps some improvement on Friday. But still, what we need is more rain, and there is some hope. By Friday, low pressure brings showers to this region, but also the risk of thunderstorms, and that means more lightning strikes and perhaps more fires. Donna?
Okay, Anthony Farnell, thanks. To other news now, the Bank of Canada is holding its key interest rate at 2.25%. Bank Governor Tiff Macklem says Canada's economy is showing signs of improvement. He's growing more confident, he says. Canada's economy is weathering trade and geopolitical instability. Multiple rate hikes, though, may be necessary if gas prices and inflation remain high, and that, he says, depends on the conflict in the Middle East. WestJet flight attendants have voted overwhelmingly in favor of a strike. 99% of CUPE union members voted to walk off the job if they can't reach a new deal on contract demands. Wages and better working conditions are among the key sticking points. A strike could ground Canada's second largest airline as early as August 2nd. That's a day before a statutory holiday in many provinces. The assets of a prominent Alberta separatist leader will remain frozen for another month. A court order freezing $8.5 million of Jeffrey Rath's assets set to expire today has been extended to August 11th. The original request came from the Tall Cree First Nation, which alleges Rath misappropriated funds from a trust account his firm was hired to manage. Rath's lawyers did not oppose the extension of the order, but did ask for access to $25,000 for living expenses. A man from Hamilton, Ontario, is facing more than 100 charges related to the sexual abuse of children in the Philippines. The investigation led to the rescue of 4 children, and as Touria Izri reports, police say another 50 have yet to be identified.
Accused child sexual predator Stephen Tolys was taken into custody in Hamilton, Ontario, more than 13,000 kilometers away from where his alleged victims were rescued.
Investigators identified a Canadian suspect who was allegedly paying for and directing the live stream sexual abuse of children in the Philippines.
The investigation began in April last year. Police won't say exactly what led them to the 42-year-old, only that it was a sweeping cross-border effort involving Toronto Police, the RCMP, U.S. Homeland Security, and authorities in the Netherlands and the Philippines. Police allege Tolys sent money to a so-called facilitator in the Philippines.
These facilitators are often family members or other trusted individuals close to the victims. They exploit vulnerable children for financial gain.
Filipino and Dutch police found and saved 4 abused children. Tolys is now facing 136 charges, including 49 counts of accessing child abuse material, 29 counts of producing it, and 6 counts of making arrangements to sexually assault a minor.
We do have over 50 unnamed victims that we're looking to identify, which is why we're here today.
When you are under arrest, you have the right to remain silent.
2 weeks ago, a convicted pedophile from BC named Orville Mader was arrested in a hotel room with 3 young boys south of Manila. UNICEF calls the Philippines the global epicenter of live-streamed child sexual abuse. Touria Izri, Global News, Toronto.
A 15-year-old boy who pleaded guilty to killing an elderly woman in Pickering, Ontario, has been given the maximum youth sentence of 10 years for first-degree murder. In court yesterday, the boy, who cannot be identified, apologized to the family of 83-year-old Eleanor Doney, who he stabbed in an unprovoked attack while she was gardening outside her home last year. He will spend 5 years in custody and 4 years supervised in the community. The judge granted him 1 year's credit for time spent in pre-sentence custody. The U.S. president has intervened in a decision to halt most vehicle stops conducted by ICE agents after 2 fatal shootings in Texas and Maine. There have now been at least 10 deaths involving ICE since Donald Trump launched his mass deportation campaign. But as Jackson Proskow reports, the president will not budge on his policy.
For the second time in a week, an American city is mourning a resident shot and killed by federal immigration officers. In Bedford, Maine, 25-year-old Johann Sebastian Duran Guerrero, a Colombian immigrant, was shot by ICE during a traffic stop. Seconds after the shooting, security cameras captured his car spinning in circles. Eventually, agents dragged his lifeless body from the vehicle.
Does anyone here feel safer because this man was shot in cold blood? No!
Last week in Houston, Lorenzo Salgado Araujo, a Mexican national, was also shot and killed during a traffic stop by ICE. Neither man was the intended target of immigration enforcement.
No one really prepares for anything like this. I felt anger for sure. My dad had been taken away from us.
The incidents prompted the Department of Homeland Security to announce it was suspending the use of traffic stops by ICE.
They're going to make sure, is the training sufficient? Did anything go wrong? I'm confident they're going to get back to their policy.
President Donald Trump quickly reversed the decision Wednesday. On social media, he wrote, "We cannot give up one of ICE's most important and effective crime-fighting tools, the traffic stop."
To me, calls for a halt in that approach for now.
Since the shooting deaths of Renee Good and Alex Preddy in Minnesota in January, there has been increased scrutiny of ICE tactics and tough questions about funding for the agency.
They continue to be a lawless, rogue organization that doesn't respect people's rights to due process.
The Trump administration remains undeterred. Despite the deaths of at least 10 people who encountered ICE agents, the White House vows to continue with its promise to carry out mass deportations. Jackson Proskow, Global News, Washington.
New threats from the U.S. president coming up, what he says he'll do to Iran if its leaders don't return to peace talks. Iran's chief negotiator says his country is locked in an existential war with the U.S. and must be ready to protect its interests. Both sides launched a new round of strikes today. Iran says the Strait of Hormuz should be closed until the U.S. attacks stop. The U.S. has resumed its blockade of Iranian ports. And as Redmond Shannon reports, President Trump is once again threatening to escalate.
With each day since the weekend, the wobbly peace there was between Iran and the US is disappearing. The American military says its latest strikes have further damaged Iran's ability to hit ships in the Strait of Hormuz, as it reimposes a blockade on Iranian ports and as Washington issues new sanctions on Tehran. US President Donald Trump has again threatened to bomb Iranian power plants and bridges unless Iran returns to negotiations.
I don't like giving deadlines, but they pretty much know. They know the story. They better behave.
The United Nations has said hitting civilian infrastructure would be a war crime. In central Tehran, this new mural doesn't exactly scream peace either. After Iran's resumption of strikes against US allies in the region. The Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps says the Strait of Hormuz will remain closed until, quote, the end of America's evils. It also says other oil export routes could close too. Likely a reference to its Houthi allies in Yemen and their potential ability to shut the key Bab el-Mandeb Strait.
I think that may depend on whether Donald Trump carries through with his threats to hit Iranian civilian infrastructure.
Iran analyst Barbara Slavin believes the conflict could drag on in some form through Trump's presidency, or until major issues like Iran's nuclear program are tackled in detail. Iran's top negotiator said Wednesday that if his country does not benefit from last month's memorandum of understanding with the US, it has no reason to adhere to the deal. Donna?
Redmond Shannon in London. Thanks, Redmond. Ahead, the call for Canada to act now as AI transforms the workforce. Hundreds of leading economists, including from Canada, have issued a public plea calling for government and institutions to act now to address how artificial intelligence could transform the economy and put many people out of work. The open letter was also signed by computer scientists and some executives at tech companies such as Anthropic, Google, and OpenAI. David Aiken reports on what Canada's Minister of Artificial Intelligence is planning.
Yeah, if you could zoom into that region there.
Handol Kim is the co-founder of a startup that uses artificial intelligence to discover new drugs.
We determined that going after drug discovery was one of the most impactful and socially beneficial uses of generative AI.
But for all of AI's potential benefit to humans, there are risks. Risks of mass disruption to the labor market, for example.
The nature of labor needs to change. And does it mean that some jobs are going to go away? Yes. Does it mean other jobs emerge? Absolutely.
Indeed, more than 200 top economists from around the world, including many in Canada, issued a statement Monday suggesting politicians and policymakers need to think more about those risks.
Our sense was that the technological capability is racing ahead much faster than our understanding of the economic implications.
This is the Industrial Revolution, at least compressed into a much smaller time frame. So that should be your mental model.
Ottawa is handing out hundreds of millions of dollars to businesses to put AI to work, hoping to create jobs. Variation AI got $3.3 million from Ottawa. It used to buy more computing power. Canada's AI minister was in Quebec Wednesday, giving a firm there a federal loan of $500,000 to develop AI-powered robots to sort waste. But Evan Solomon would not say if federal funds would be denied to a firm for an AI project that displaces human work.
We've got 150,000 people currently working in just pure play AI around the country right now, so it's created a lot of jobs. On the other hand, the strategy is candid about concerns about job displacement. That's why we're investing in education, training, and skills.
So is AI displacing jobs in Canada? Well, so far at least, the data is ambiguous. But Statistics Canada has been given a new mandate to begin measuring and reporting on AI's impact on Canada's job market. Donna.
Okay, David Aiken in Ottawa, thank you. Kickoff confirmed. Next, the teams that made it through and are headed to the World Cup final. English hearts were broken at the World Cup today. The defending World Cup champions Argentina came back late in the second half to beat England and book their spot in the final. The Argentinian team, led by all-time great Lionel Messi, will now face Spain on Sunday. Eric Sorensen reports on the dramatic win today and a look ahead to that final match.
On Tuesday, fans of Spain erupted in joy when that country shocked France, the headlines screaming, historic thrash, grandioso, magnificent. Now, fans of Argentina have reason to rejoice as the defending champions downed England. It was a rough match in a scoreless first half, but in the second, Anthony Gordon redirected a crossing pass into the net, 1-0 England. Argentina poured on the pressure, and late in the 85th minute, Enzo Fernandez scored the equalizer, 1-1. Then, just minutes later, in stoppage time, Messi crossed the ball and Lautaro Martinez headed in what would be the winner, 2-1. Heartbreak for England, euphoria for Argentina. A World Cup that has featured teams from 48 nations, drawing close to 7 million fans to stadiums in 3 countries, including Canada, will come down to a clash of heavyweights. We now know the World Cup finalists in 2026. On Sunday in New Jersey, Argentina will play Spain. The two teams are both in the top 5 in the world, so the matchup is not a shock, and yet it's a final that was unexpected. The surprise came courtesy of Spain. Superstar teenager Lamine Yamal drew the foul, setting up the first goal against France. A second goal, and the World Cup favorites were headed for the exit. And Yamal, just turned 19, showed his magic. Offside, it turned out, but a new generation of brilliance will have an opportunity to shine on sport's biggest stage. Spain has won just one World Cup in 2010. While Argentina has won 3 times, led by mythic figures Maradona in 1986 and Lionel Messi in 2022, when Argentina won the last World Cup. España! 2 European soccer powers in the final, Spain the favorites. The Spanish team surprised me. They surprised the French, surprised everyone, he says. From Spain, the old world, versus the new world, Argentina, a former Spanish colony. 2 soccer titans hoping to make history. Eric Sorensen, Global News, Toronto.
And that is Global National for this Wednesday. I'm Donna Friesen. Tonight's Your Canada is Kings Point, Newfoundland and Labrador. Thanks for watching and hope to see you here again tomorrow. Bye-bye.